Let me ask you a question. Can you understand what is the difference between sex and rape? And why does that difference matter? Can you understand the difference between trade or gift giving and theft? And why does that difference matter? Can you understand the difference between voluntarily participating in a collective and being enslaved by a collective? And can you understand why that difference matters? Now, the difference in all of these examples is consent. And the reason why consent matters is because of individual self-ownership. The only person who has right over you is you. Everybody has right over their own self as individuals. So somebody wants to have sex with you, they need your consent. If someone wants you to be part of their collective or subject to their arbitrary rules, they need your permission or consent. And if somebody wants something that you rightfully own, your property, then they need to either buy it from you as part of a voluntary trade or hope that you voluntarily gift it to them as a gift. Either way, you need their consent because our rights are based on our individual self-ownership, our right over ourself. And all other rights come from that simple moral truth. Your right to own property, your right to be free, your right to be free from enslavement, and your right to control what you do with your own body, as long as you're not violating anybody else's exact equal right, is a simple moral truth that seems kind of obvious to most of us. It's a principle that almost everybody recognizes, at least on an instinctive level, even if they haven't done the intellectual work to discover the logical truth of this moral truth. But the reason why this is such an important thing to bring up is because we've allowed ourselves to live within a system where we are ruled by governments that overtly violate this most basic, simple and undeniable moral truth, this most basic, simple and undeniable foundational right of individual self-ownership is violated by every government on this planet. And every system that we have stands in direct opposition to that basic principle. So while people may observe this principle in their basic day-to-day interactions with each other as individuals, we all seem to forget about this principle when it comes to the criminals who we allow to rule over us. Now, I represent a project called the Nations of Sanity, and the Nations of Sanity project is based on the assertion that crime and law, as well as our rights and freedom, can and should be defined by the concept of individual self-ownership and established as the terms of a peace agreement. And the reason for this is because it is an undeniable moral truth that if we have right over anything at all, we have right over our own selves as individuals. And if we don't have right over our own selves as individuals, then we can't have any kind of coherent rights claim. So the only way that we can live in a free society, the only way we can live in a sane society, is to establish the non-aggression principle as the law. This principle of individual self-ownership is to establish this as the law through a peace agreement, because no one has the right to rule over anybody or create or dictate what laws are. Law is objectively identifiable by this simple principle of individual self-ownership, and the only way to establish this law as law without contradicting it is to establish it as the terms of peace. So consent matters, and the reason why consent matters is because you have right over yourself and nobody else has right over you, and you don't have right over anybody else. And that simple moral truth is a moral truth that we can use to set the whole world free and onto a path to prosperity, because the path to prosperity is paved with freedom, and the key to freedom is presented by the Nations of Sanity project. So please visit our website, nationsofsanity.com, or visit our YouTube channel for more information, and please join the fight for freedom.